Yay.
All right. Are we ready to let him in?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. We got like 15 or so up to now. Good. Okay. Here they come. Hello, hello. We know that some of you, your audio is connecting as you head into our meeting today. So it's so nice to have so many of you here with us. So we just want to do a couple of quick checks, like audio checks, make sure that you can hear us and make sure that you're all in. I'm trying to think if everybody's got their camera off, which totally up to you. I get it. Many of you, this is your day off. Some of you want to have it on, some of you don't. We'd love to see your faces though. I always love seeing people's faces. But
I sure do too. That's always fun.
But let us know in the chat too if you can hear us okay.
Yeah, and I always like to know where you guys are from and what exactly you do in the industry so we can speak more specifically to you here today that have taken the time to tune in with us. So where you're from and what you do.
There we go. Now I got my chat out here. Okay, everybody says they can hear, they can see.
Woo-hoo, New York.
Wonderful.
Rochester, I have family there. I was just
Where?
I don't know exactly, but I was just in New York, was it 2 weeks ago? I got to sneak away for some fun business with my other half. So we got to tag along and do the town. It was super fun. It was nice to see everything open again. And it just almost feels back to normal.
I know.
You guys can feel me on that. Yay, congrats, Kristen just became a Goldwell educator. Woo, woo.
Congratulations, Kristen.
Super congrats.
Great. So yeah, so Goldwell New York is a distributor, in New York State. So most everybody should be New York. However, I did throw the link out there, the Zoom link on Instagram, and I know Jess shared it, a couple other people have shared it. So who knows, we might have some other people popping in here. But just to get us started, this is something new that we are doing. Actually, Goldwell New York is doing in partnership with the Salon Social Media Shop. For those of you that don't know myself, my name is Danielle Hildreth, and I'm actually wearing double hats today. So I am the director of new media for Goldwell New York. So I manage their email, website, and social media. And through the years of doing that, I saw the need for some more help with salons for social media. A lot of times people were saying, can you help the salon? Can you give me some advice? What do you think? Tips, tricks. I've done some different events as well. So workshops, social media. And then I said, you know what, there needs to be more. We need to be able to help more people at a time, and started the Salon Social Media Shop, which is the sponsor of these webinars with Goldwell New York. And they are templates. So it is social media education along with pre-done templates in canva.com. And in doing that, I've been able to meet a lot of great people. And Jess is actually one of them that I met through her podcast. And if I wanted to check, see who has listened to the podcast, Beauty Inspires Beauty. If you guys want to put in the chat, that would be great. And let us know. I'm wondering how many of you have listened to that. Let me know. I have people texting me now, so bear with me just 1 second, asking for the Zoom link. So I am
that is the beautiful thing about people can just get at you at every angle. You're like, and who else is last minute? I mean, I'm not going to say hairdresser a little last minute sometimes, but I just text her too. She's like, I sent you the email. I'm like, send it to me again.
Yeah, no, and it's quick. I love a quick copy and paste of the Zoom link and I'm ready to go. So yeah, we have a couple people.
Chat the name of the podcast. It's crazy because there are so many podcasts out there, right? But it takes a while, like social media, to build like some momentum and to get people to start to recognize, because we have to see things multiple times before we actually like click on the thing to go watch it or see it. And I think now that once you've heard it, you may see it pop up on more people's pages that you know. I am local to San Diego, California. So that also might be why I'm not in your hood. But I'm working my way out there. We just hit almost 14,000 downloads, and it's only been about a year and a half that it's really like moving. And it takes time to get traction. Like we've doubled over the last like 3 months, the downloads. We went from a couple hundred a month to now we're getting almost 2,000 a month. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. I've been a hairdresser for 20 years and behind the chair, hair and makeup. And I've wanted to do a podcast for, I don't even know, 4, 5, 6 years, but I didn't have the time. And I also was scared, super scared. I was like, what am I going to talk about? So when we were shut down, I had no more excuses. I had just opened a salon and it'd been open about 6 months. I had a space, I had the time, and I had no more excuses. So I started really messy, and that's okay. In the first few episodes, you can just skip through those ones. So I'd probably hit somewhere around 40 to 50 and then work your way up. But we are about to hit 100 episodes this coming Wednesday, which is huge. And yeah, I think getting, my messaging down to wanting to speak to the beauty industry, but also finding ways to bring outside influences into our business, right? Because about 3 years ago, I invested in a business mastermind that helped propel me to say, oh my God, this is all the stuff we didn't learn in beauty school and all the things I've been doing the hard way for so many years. Mind you, we didn't have social media when I started. So, but again, I built my business before this all existed. And so this is why I was so excited to come and talk with you guys today, just about how I've changed and been able to come onto social media and how I start to show up. And so those are some of the things we're going to share with you guys today.
Wonderful. So I know, Jess, that was a little bit of an introduction. You guys heard a little bit about, the podcast, and let me see, Jess, did you put it in the chat?
I got distracted.
It might have, and make sure, I just forget that also sometimes you can talk to people in the waiting room versus people in the meeting. So make sure it's people in the meeting, because I've let everybody in from the waiting room. But yeah, and then we'll throw a link in there too. So it's easy for you guys to just, link and then add it to your things to listen to. So I'm excited actually to introduce many of you to Jess, because she's amazing. And I just really can dig her vibe and her approach to things. And I think that many of you, will too. There's a lot of different business coaches and people out there that want to help salons. And I feel like Jess is always kind of on the money and gives you a direct answer, whether you want to hear it or not. So I think that's great. And I'm glad that you guys get to meet her today and then get some wonderful advice from her too. And then we'll talk about some of the things that she has going on, at the end that you won't want to miss either. So Jess, is there anything else you want to tell them about yourself and as far as an intro?
Well, yeah, I mean, how do you compile 20 years of like who you are and what you do, right? Because for so long, when someone was like, what do you do? It's like, who are you? You say, what do you do? You talk about what you do. Like, I'm a mom, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a business owner, I'm a hairdresser. But like, who are you is, I think, the really tough question. And so when someone says, talk about yourself, right? It's kind of hard to talk about yourself sometimes. And I think this is a really good practice for any of you looking to show up stronger on social media is, who are you? Because if you don't let people know who you are, why will they want to work with you? Why will they want to take classes from you? Why would they want to buy something from you? Why would they want to consume your content? They want to get to know you, because you and I could be teaching the exact same thing, but it's going to come out in a totally different way. Just like the girl next to me and I could have been trained the exact same technical way to do the exact same color or haircut, but she's going to build a different type of clientele than I am, because you're going to be attracted to my energy and versus hers. So if I try to be like her, I mean, that's not sustainable, right? And that's what we see happen on social media is people trying to copy, not in a bad way, but just you see someone else is doing well and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it like that, or I'm going to start, using that type of language or whatever. And I think when you're trying to figure yourself out as far as like, an influencer on social media, and yes, everybody who has an account, you are an influencer at some level, like someone's consuming your stuff. So we have to accept that. I'm 41. So this is like tough for me because I'm no like spring chicken, right? So this obviously didn't exist the first half of my career. And then I didn't technically need it the second half because I'd already built such a strong business, or at least that's what I told myself. And I think what the shutdown did for me was show me that who am I without being a salon owner and a hairdresser? And I had to kind of peel back the layers and be like, well, here are my skill sets. I love talking to people. I love teaching, even though I'm scared to do it still to this day. And then how can I just show up as myself? Because when you, like I said, try to show up like other people, it's really hard to sustain that. And then you struggle to figure out what to post, and you struggle to figure out what to talk about, because you are waiting to copy someone else's stuff. And again, not in a bad way. Like, we have to see what's possible before we can take it and make it our own. So I don't want you to take that word copy as something bad, because again, that's how I learned. That's how I saw someone else having a thriving podcast. And I was like, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. And that's what my podcast is always about. It's like a come with me girl or guy podcast, because I want to just pull back the curtain and show you, if someone who can stumble over their words, talks way too fast, and goes on tangents, can have a podcast that's doing this well, like so can you, or an IGTV series, or a consistent Instagram that's building your brand and your business. And so again, going back to the shutdown, who am I? I knew I needed to work on my personal brand. And that's what social media can do for you, is build your personal brand, so that when you ever want to pivot or shift in your business, become an educator, open a salon, retire from behind the chair and do something along in education, or like what we're doing, just slightly different, business coaching, but whatever it might be, I don't know, a totally different field. You have created a brand where it's you, and that these pillars are just what you do. So you are always the influencer to whatever legs of your life that create some sort of business, whether it's actual bringing income or it's a hobby like people know you for. I post stuff about working out all the time. People can come to me for consistent motivation around showing the F up in the morning. And then I'm always talking about Mondays. That's one of my brand pillars. And that's what we're going to dive into a little bit more. But this came by way of me investing in a very, very high level business coaching program about 3.5 years ago. And I was sitting in that room feeling like the biggest imposter there ever was. I'm like, what do I have to add to this room? Everyone must be smarter than me. I'm just a hairdresser. And it was within probably the first, 60 minutes, we all had to get up in front of the room and like intro ourselves. And people kept going. And I'm like, oh my God, we're all the same. We're all scared. We all think we're nothing. We all think we're not smart enough. And the worst thing was, we all struggled to ask for help. And it's like, the biggest thing is like, what do you need help with? Most of us know we need help with something. We just don't know what. So as I went through that program, it was 6 months long. I realized I thought I was going to shift out of being in the industry. I thought, okay, this is it. It's been almost 20 years. Let me see what else is out there for me. But being in that room, consuming all of that online marketing, learning all these business fundamentals, I'm like, our industry needs this knowledge. Like, beauty school should include at least like 6 weeks of this, so that you can leave school and have these fundamentals to grow your business. So that's where I just vowed to do what I could to bring that into our industry and teach of that. But again, I felt like the biggest business coach. Like, I'm a really awesome creative. I can cut, I can color, I can make up out of anything. But when I put business coach in front of my name, I was like, I'm a fake. But if you can just teach somebody one thing or share something with somebody, you're an influencer and you're some sort of mentor or coach. So I still struggle with leaning into that title, but it's one that I own now because people have started to look to me to guide, but I still have coaches that I work with that guide me. So I'm never better than anybody. I'm just always trying to like bring people with me and show you how much easier the business can be, how much more money you can make, how much easier it is to be consistent than you think once we learn these brand pillars that we're going to talk about today. And so, yeah, again, I'm no better than you. I'm just like biting through the fear and just showing up and doing the things anyways. Long-winded.
I love that. No, I love that. It's true. And I have to commend any of you that are on this class today. And I've said this before about this industry. For those of you that do know me, I know there's some people on here that do. I'm not a stylist. So I come from a hospitality background. And I remember when I first learned that these classes are on Mondays, I'm like, wait, what days do they get off? And they're like Sunday and Monday. And I'm like, and they're showing up to class and they're doing education. So I commend any of you that, are taking this hour today to say, hey, I want to learn something more. I want to better myself. And I see that happen so much in this industry, and hats off to you guys, because it doesn't happen in every industry. So first of all, let me say that. And Jess definitely has to own being a business coach. And she does now, because you'll see she has great advice. So just take one step back. So just so you guys know, we are doing this social media series. So there's going to be a bunch. So this is the big kickoff. So I'll tell you a little bit more at the end of kind of what's coming down the pipe. You can also follow, Salon Social Media Shop or Goldwell NY to hear about the different sessions that are coming up. And what we wanted to do on this session was definitely kick off, and Jess has already hit some of these topics, giving you a little insight as far as where we're going. But it's, why is social media so hard? What is it that we find that's so hard? And she's talking about imposter syndrome and some of these things you might have heard about, maybe you haven't. So if you haven't, just think about some of those things when you start saying, oh, maybe you're going to do hair extensions. Maybe you're going to become, you're going to a bridal, and you're going to kill that market. And you think, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't. And all of a sudden these negative things like, I couldn't do that. No, or I couldn't start a podcast, or maybe I want to start doing education. These negative thoughts that kind of come into your head and say, it makes you feel like you're an imposter, right? Because then this is what you want to do. This is where you want to go. And you start doing it and you think, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, just like Jess said, you are not alone. No one knows what they're doing when they start.
Nobody.
Nobody. So, I'd like for you guys to put in the chat, we want to make sure that we cover some of the things that are really challenging for you. So hopefully you guys will see that you're not alone also by sharing in the chat. What are your biggest challenges? Why is social media hard for you? And if you guys could put that in the chat, that would be great. And it will help us also as we kind of can ebb and flow with a little bit of the dialogue for the rest of our time today. I know, Jess, you have also heard from a lot of people as you've coached different people. What are some of the biggest challenges that you hear over and over?
Well, I'm going to kind of work my way back, because I think that Isabel said it first. You took the words out of my mouth, girlfriend. Being consistent. But it's really hard to be consistent when you don't have clarity. Confidence is one thing, but clarity around your messaging is key. And often, she writes right here, deciding how to engage, how to know my target market. Okay, so there's a couple ways that you can kind of peel that back. If you guys agree with that, just either like put a heart emoji in there, or a yes, or a hell yes. Being specific around, yes, thank you. Being specific around what it is that you're struggling with on social media. And I'm pretty sure those three things are exactly what everybody's feeling, not knowing how to present things to the public. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. Not knowing how to present is a really, however you consume content, however you like to consume content is the way that you should teach your content or share your content. If you like to do long form like I do, I'm very, very long-winded. I'll tell a mean story. So for me, podcasting is a great platform because you can be long-winded on there, right? A short podcast is 10 to 15 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes on a story is way too long, and no one's going to watch that. No one's probably going to watch, an hour-long IGTV unless it was sent to them specifically around a specific topic. So for me, I chose podcasting as the platform of how I want to share my content. And then from that umbrella, I can trickle down out of that podcast content that can be chopped into copy for a hard post, video or IGTVs for an Instagram, and or a reel for whatever. Now, I'm not saying in order to do any of this, you have to have a podcast. Definitely not saying that. I started with IGTVs and showing up consistently on one specific day that I knew I could at least give 5 to 10 minutes. And I just let myself ramble about a specific topic or something that came up or something that inspired me on social media. I'm like, I'm going to talk about that. Or I listened to a podcast and I reformed it so that I could share it with people in our industry. So it's not that you have to reinvent the wheel. You can take things that inspire and have it encouraged and taught you and just reshare that to start with. So clarity comes when you know what you're trying to convey. Are you trying to get more clients in your chair? or are you trying to become an educator and teach to hairstylists and other people in the industry? So those are two very different types of people. And that's what I had to move away from, trying to draw in more clients, more butts and seats, or start teaching to the actual hairdressers around the business education and that. So those are two totally different clients. Could my business stuff work for current clients? Sure, but that's really confusing, right? So you know who does a really great job of this is Carly Zanoni. She has the Blonde Chronicle. She's on Instagram. She became an educator, and every single piece of content that she posts has something to do with education. You don't really see that she's trying to get clients in her chair anymore. She gets clients in her chair by way of sharing education because people see her as the expert, because she consistently shows up teaching. So you can kill two birds with one stone in that way. And a lot of educators do that. Of course, the traffic just comes in because people see you being the expert in one thing. So we can just bring it all the way back down to, if you're just behind the chair looking to drive more business to your seat, what type of hair or what type of skin, lashes, nails do you like to do that you would post more of? So that's one of the pillars that you would put under your brand pillar. I like to choose 5 because I think 5 is a good way. There's 7 days in the week. So if we can consistently post 5 days out of the week, that's pretty freaking good. That's really, really good that your stuff's going to start showing up more and more, so that people are going to start to recognize you, like, oh, there she is again. Oh, there she is again. Oh, there's that. So for me, like, I like to be funny and tell bad jokes. And so there's some stuff on mine that's like, entertaining. So that's one of my brand pillars. That can be literally a whole brand pillar that on Tuesday, I'm talking trash on Tuesday, or, you're doing something that's kind of funny or a little spicy. Another one's education. What can I teach or share today that's impacted me? So that's a really good one too. Super simple. You literally can pull something off someone else's page, or you can share a quick tip that you learned in the salon that day, just like a refresher. Oh, when I mixed the lightener like this, it didn't lift as well. Just some sort of a tip or some sort of teachable moment. Third thing is, if you're, say, trying to be an educator, talking about your classes that are coming up. People can't find you if you're not sharing your shit. Excuse my language. If you don't share or talk about what it is you have to offer, if I don't talk about the mastermind membership that I run, who's going to sign up for it? And who's going to share it with their friends? So that's where I see a lot of people in the industry struggle when they start to create either a course, a class, an IGTV series, a podcast, you name it. They don't talk about it enough. They're like, oh, I don't want to post it too much. I feel weird. I don't want to be pushy. Trust me, people are scrolling like this. If they don't want to see your stuff, let them go. And the thing with social media is, I want everybody to like me. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I don't know who doesn't want everybody to think that they're cool and like them. But at the end of the day, I'm not for everybody. My podcast has the explicit on the bottom. I realize not a lot of people like to hear cussing. I respect that, but I like to use the F word sometimes. So if you listen to my podcast, I have to be able to be me in order to be consistently, me. When I started the podcast, let me just tell you a little backstory. For the first several episodes, I was so scared to do solos because, again, I didn't feel like I had anything to say. So I did interview style, which was great. It was a great way for me to ask awesome questions, learn my interview skills, let other people talk, and kind of roll the podcast by that way. I would say by about episode 40 something, which is several episodes in, right? I started to feel like I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't really know how to show up. I didn't know what I wanted to say. And I did a little, breath work one morning, and it kind of came to me, and I was like, you're not being yourself, girl. You're not speaking the way you would, like how I am right now. You're trying to be all perfect. And you think because you named it Beauty Inspires Beauty, you have to be what? I don't know. I came up with some weird, limiting belief. I self-sabotage, try to talk myself out of doing it because it's hard. Finally, I was like, just be yourself. And it's literally since I started just being myself, I can turn the camera on whenever I want, record an episode, or I'm more strategic with how I ask questions when I'm on there with guests, because there's shit I want to know. And there's things that I want you guys to be able to know. So I'm going to ask the really hard questions. So it's in that. So we've got those 3 so far. 2 more would be, honestly, anything that might be a hobby to you. If there's something of interest, if you're a parent, if you want to share your kids, showing that you're a real person is key in social media, because when we see these people that seem perfect, you can't relate to perfect, because honestly, we know they're not, but they seem like they are. So it's almost hard to want to get in their bubble, because you can't relate to being in their shoes if they're so far ahead of you in fake Instagram life, so when you share relatable content and you are truly yourself, messy bun, you don't have to show up perfect, throw a filter on if you want, nobody judges anymore, show the real of your life. That draws people in, and it starts to build what we say, the know, like, and trust factors that keep people coming back, consuming your stuff. Hey, what's she up to today? Oh God, I really need to pick me up. I bet it's Monday. I bet you just post something about working out this morning. That has nothing to do with my business coaching. But people know that through that, I'm consistent. I show up, and I'm like you just said, I'm going to call you on your shit, right? So I hope those things like help. Let's see. Kristen asked, how important is it to add video into your feed, TikToks and Reels? Clearly, we can see that Reels are blowing up people's Instagrams and their following. The one thing that I will say about building followers like that is making sure that the Reel draws to the copy underneath, right? So whatever you write the caption needs to have a call to action. If you're just posting funny reels of like random stuff, your account will grow, especially if you do some trending audio and whatever. So cool, you wake up, you have 50 new followers. But if they're not your ideal client and you're trying to grow a specific business, it's kind of for nothing. So if you can get really specific on one of those pillars and kind of get to be known for that, people can come to you. They can be like, Kristen's like so funny. I love to go to her page. And oh, by the way, she wrote a book. Oh, by the way, she has classes. So that's you creating your personal brand. And so no matter what Kristen decides to do later on in life, she's going to have a community, an audience that already has this know, like, and trust because she's shown up consistently through video because people want to see your face. They really do. Bad, ugly, like, but I don't care. They want to see your face. And then through that, she can talk about whatever. So making sure that the Reel or the TikTok draws them in, right? So they see it. And then making sure there's some sort of call to action inside of your post. Book with me now. This is the type of hair that I do. This is the type of client I want. This is the coaching client that I want. Speak to them and get really specific. Like mine will be like, listen to the latest episode of the Beauty Inspires Beauty podcast. And then I always like to ask a question in that copy too. What are you struggling with? Or what would you like to see more of? Even if you get no engagement back on those, at least like you're putting some thoughtful actual copy in there. And then that makes it worth something. Throwing up random reels and TikToks, I mean, if it's fun for you, then do it. To me, they're work. And if I'm going to put some work into something, if I'm going to create a reel or a TikTok, it better lead me to some business down the road. And I think for me, that's what shifted. I took social media as being fun. I had to like have a whole morning ceremony because I love to post my sandwich and my coffee. I didn't want to write shit on there. And once I realized it was such a free online business marketing platform, I was like, okay, game on. I'm going to show up as a business person on my page and really start to like use it for what it is because it's such a powerful tool. So I think I touched on all 5. Did I get 5 or 4? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So did any of that help or resonate with you guys? Did you get a little bit of clarity around maybe what your brand pillars could be? Because that's really important. And again, it could be something super, right? Entertaining, teachable, education. Yep. Call to action has to be in every single piece of copy that you put out, even if you're posting your sandwich, right? This is where I had lunch today, but on my lunch today, I thought about this and I want to share this tip with you. If you love more of my stuff, share this with a friend, or you can make sure to tune into my IGTVs every Tuesday. I think video is so powerful because not only does it give you the opportunity to strengthen your voice and learn your messaging through sharing, because I found my voice through talking. I've always been a talker my whole life and a writer and all of that. But when you learn to deliver a message and share something in a concise way that get people to be like, oh, I need that. Oh, I like her. That's when you start to build some traction and you'll see like things taking off. So you could be the world's best hairdresser, but maybe you only want to talk about these things. And oh, by the way, yeah, I do hair. Book with me now. Right? How many times have you gotten complimented on your hair and like, oh my God, girl, I love your haircut. And you're like, thank you. I'm a hairdresser. Here's my card. And they walk away and you're like, but I didn't cut my own hair. Don't you want her number? Like, that's how I used to get business. Like I would go out, pass out my cards and talk to people. That was like guerrilla marketing. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Anybody as old as me. We used to have to go out to real people and like have real conversation. So if you can just pretend that social media is a real person and you're talking to that person, that can be so helpful. So one thing I'll leave you with, that's the last little piece. If we don't know specifically who we're talking to, if you pick up your phone and you're like, hey guys, so I have this class and it's this, and this, and it's on this day. And I hope you want to come. See you then. Maybe here's the registration link. Who's going to know who that it's for? If you're like, hey girl, if you struggle with bleeding every time you foil your highlights, this class is for you. Do you sometimes feel that Like if you get really specific that this class is for this type of person, it can be for everybody else, but she needs to know it's for her. So when I get on, I talk to social media, I am like, my person has a name. So we call it an avatar. Who is your ideal client avatar? And it could be you. Generally, it's you like 6 months ago, 6 years ago. For me, when I came up with the business mastermind with my partner, Laren, it was literally me in the early stages of opening my salon. We help salon owners, med spa owners, independent suite owners, anyone looking to kind of hit that 6-figure mark. And then from 6 figures to 7 figures, that's our ideal client, you know? And when we speak directly to her when we're talking about stuff in our messaging, you can look at our sales page and figure that out. When you get really clear, you might think that you're excluding everybody else, but really you are making that one person who it's for know that it's for them. So every time they see your stuff, they're like, she is talking to me. Oh shit, that's me. Oh, she's calling me out. Okay. Like that's the kind of engagement that you want to happen on social media. So knowing the client avatar helps you have a lot of clarity in your message, which gives you the confidence to start speaking regularly, sharing those brand pillars. Does that make sense? Is this helping you guys? Let me get a little something in the chat, like a heck yes, or tell me more, or I've heard enough. Yeah, because when Tara asked, like not knowing how to present things to the public, again, if you knew who you were speaking to, it wouldn't be that hard. Because if you're talking to your old self, you're like, hey girl, listen, like just get real clear and very concise on Elizabeth, like who would be your ideal client that you're looking for? Are you looking for butts and seats, or are you looking to educate? Why are you on this today? I got Elizabeth, Kristen's on your, Alexandria. Share with me like what it is that you are trying to convey in your messaging. Because when we know that, it makes it so much simpler. Butts in seats, but I really want to branch out to do what? Just grow your personal brand, or do you want to become an educator? Butts in seats. Okay. I honestly feel like butts in seats is the easier one, even though we think it might be harder. If you are looking to streamline or niche down in your behind the chair business, what type of hair do you want to be doing specifically? And if you are not getting that type of client in your chair, it's because your messaging isn't clear enough. It's because you're saying yes to anything. Now, I will say, when I started out, that's the mentality we had. You had to say yes to everything in order to build your book of business. But then I woke up one day with a book of business I didn't want anymore. I didn't want to be doing that type of hair or this type of a client. But I had it and I didn't know how to like shift and pivot. And I also didn't know that I had, I don't know, the ability to change that, or that I was responsible for my own brand. I just thought I had to take what I got. And it wasn't until we started to see people really niching down that they only wanted to do blondes. I have a hard time saying no and charging my worth. I feel you on that. I feel you on that so hard. Imagine 20 years in having clients that have been with me this long, what they started paying and what I have to charge them now. You know, gas has gone up, everything else has gone up, but why do we as service providers, it's such an intimate business. I get it. Like a lot of these clients have been my friends. You know, I've tried to always keep business and personal separate. I would probably say on one hand, how many clients I've actually had a drink with or had like coffee outside of work with, because I learned early on that they are separate and that I can have friends elsewhere. Yeah. 14 years in, I just hit 20 years. So I feel you. But if you explain the progression, like I feel like a lot of people will post on social media their new prices, or they'll feel like they have to give this really in-depth, like explanatory, apologetic letter to their clients why they're raising their prices. If you're putting in the education, you're here on a day off getting educated right now. This is your time. No one's paying you to be here. These are all things you're learning more by being on social media, all of the melting, all the different techniques that have come in. They require a stronger skill set and they require more product. They require more time to get that client the delivery on their service. And this is something I teach inside my mastermind too. I'm going to give you this little tip because you're here and you're engaged and I appreciate that. You need to math is the path. And I am a creative. So for me to say those words out of my mouth feels like I'm speaking gibberish. Like it's a foreign language. I'm like, what? But when you know your numbers, it makes things so much less emotional. Okay. If you know, bottom line, this is what I need to make this year, or this is my income goal for 2023. And then you reverse engineer those numbers, you will know exactly what you need to charge, per client, per hour for your services. It won't become like an emotional thing of saying either no, or this is what I charge. Yesterday I had a girl message me and she was asking, she has a appointment booked on Thursday. And she was like, how much is a partial with a root lift? And how much is the haircut? I'm trying to figure out if I can do both. And it felt so good. I just wrote price. Let me know. Like, let me know what you want me to book you. And she didn't respond, but she's come to me several times. And I think she just out of like, she needed to know she has a budget and her budget isn't for me to decide. She knows I'm not inexpensive. I'm a luxury service. And if she wants what she wants, then she's going to pay for it. So at the end of the day, that is a muscle you have to like work on. I will admit it's not like, oh, just do it. I'm not going to tell you there's some like secret sauce is going to make it easier to talk about money. If you've got some shit around money, you've got some stuff around money. Still okay. It's totally fine. But the power that it will give you when you know your numbers is exponentially easier for you to explain to yourself, which doesn't need to be explained to your client. Even though we're like a service-based business and it is intimate, you don't walk into a store and negotiate or talk, oh, wow, it's that much, that candle's that much. Is it really like, I don't know, can I maybe just get like half the candle? No, we don't do that in any other business. Only our business gets, F like this. So it's up to us as an industry to level up that this is the norm. And I feel like sometimes if you're in a smaller town, we feel like we're going to make excuses around why we can't charge as much, but we all have the same access to the same education. Am I right? So if we're all learning the same skill set, but you just happen to be in a small town, that doesn't mean those people don't have the budget to get their hair done, And I think when we try to decide how other people spend their money, that is a no-no on us. And that was something that I had a great mentor tell me. You don't decide how your clients spend their money. If your 25-year-old wants to spend every last dollar on her Louis bag and getting her hair done, but she has nothing to eat later this week, like that's on her. I know that sounds kind of messed up, but like we don't decide how our clients spend their money. So I have a whole little reverse engineer on your numbers. That's super easy. You can just say, I want to make $100,000 this year, right? We'll just keep it simple. You want to reverse engineer. How many weeks out of the 52 do you want to work? I want to work, I want to have 6 weeks off this year, a week here, a week there. So then there's that many weeks, right? So I'm going to 44 weeks. You guys do the math. See, not a math person. How many weeks you want to work out of the year? And then how many days out of that week do you want to work? You want to work 3 days a week, 4 days a week? And then how many hours do you want to work in those 3 or 4 days that you're choosing? Simple math. How much do you want to make? How many weeks do you want to work out of the year? How many days out of that week? And how many hours out of those days? You'll know exactly what your hourly needs to be. And if you think that hourly is so far over what it is that you're charging now, maybe you do need to work one extra day. But it'll give you that scale of, okay, I'm only making about 60 something dollars an hour, which is only going to bring me to about $70,000 a year, but I want to make 100. So I'm comfortable raising my prices $20. So if I raise them $20 per service, what would that give me? So doing those things with math, it makes it so simple so that when, you're deciding to take a client, kids cut, I don't want to do kids cuts anymore. In that 30 minutes, I can do a men's cut and charge double. So sometimes saying no is like the strongest muscle that you can flex, because what that does is it creates some space and some, I call it magic, room for you to say yes to the ideal clients to come in. Because if you fill your book up with all of these people you don't really want to be doing, who really don't want to pay you more than, what they're already paying, how can you say yes when you actually do get a client that you want? Because you're full. And that's where there's that weird stigma of people saying that, you shouldn't have your books jammed out too far in advance. Well, I agree, but I don't agree. If you're leaving room for new clients to come in at that price point that you want, trust me, they will come, because you're going to be showing up on social media talking to them. You're not going to be talking to these ones anymore. Hey, I have a special this week. I'm giving, 2-for-1 haircuts, and haircuts are only $25. That's not how we're showing up anymore. You're showing up talking to this person. I give a luxury service. These are the classes I've attended. This is how I do hair. That's showing your work, talking about what you do, looking like the expert on social media is going to draw people in. Now, when people book with me, they never ask me my prices. I never get asked, how much is it? Maybe how long do you take? Nope. Nobody asks my prices anymore. They might later on, like, oh shit, I guess I forgot to ask. But 9 times out of 10, if I get a new client messaging me or trying to book with me, they don't even ask. And I don't have a booking system because I directly like to talk to my clients and make sure I get a before and after picture or a before, kind of figuring out what they want. So hopefully that was helpful. Does that feel like empowering to you guys? You guys feel like you can do that math and kind of figure out the numbers so that it's a little bit easier to talk to your clients about? Kristen,
I love that math.
Okay, good. It's easy. Yeah. It's easier than
I think it's great.
But we make things so complicated. Like, how many of you guys make things more complicated than they are? I mean, if you're a girl on here, you do. Because you know why? Because we care. We care and we want to be perfect. And though we know no one's perfect, like, you want your content to be perfect. You want your work to be perfect. You want your clients to be happy. And that's why this is such an awesome business. The best in the world, I'd say, hands down. That's why it was so hard for me to leave. And I'm not going anywhere. I decided I'm going to leave it. I'm here forever. Like, I just found another love in the industry that I can like pay it forward, but always still learning and empowering you to charge your worth. Because I think at a minimum, making 6 figures, $100,000 is easy and simple. If you do the math, figure out what it costs you to work, figure out how much you actually want to bring home, do the numbers, and then that's your price. It's very simple. And if you're somewhere way below what you want to be making, recognize that and create a 2 to 3 year plan that you can slowly raise your prices, or put yourself in an environment where it demands that. If you want to give the excuse, oh, I'm in a small space or a small town, I'm sorry, or my salon, like I would be the most expensive one in the salon. Maybe it's time to examine like your environment and put yourself in a situation that's going to push you to elevate yourself and the type of work you do and the type of conversations that you're having in order to be that 6-figure stylist. If you're okay making 50 or 60 grand and you're happy in that bubble, fuck it, stay in that bubble. That's a good place to be. I'm not trying to push anybody to want more than they already have. But if your goals are to make more, because hello, it's 2022 and in San Diego, you can't buy anything for anything. Like, making 100 grand isn't very much money anymore. And that's where I wanted to empower people to figure out, how could I not only have a great book of business, but how could I use my education to diversify my revenue and bring in other streams of income while I'm still doing what I love? That's what I decided to do. So I'm still buying the chair 2 days a week. That feels great. I still love it. I tried to get out, but I love my clients and I've streamlined it so I only have clients that I love in those 2 days. I power through. I have an assistant. It's amazing. I can still grab some content from there. I'm still relevant. I can still know what's going on. I can still try the little techniques on my clients. But I also have created room magic for a podcast. Mondays are for stuff like this. Wednesdays are for connection with other people in the industry that I want to be around or being on other people's podcasts. I created an online course a while ago that did really well that people could just grab and download. We call those like an evergreen course. You build it once, you market it on social media, you talk about it, but it's not more work that you have to do. People can just click it for $29, $49, $149 and buy it and use it. Much like the templates that she creates for you guys every single month. You can just grab those and use them. You guys are capable of making these legs and bringing in other revenue more than you realize. And that's what we strongly teach in Behind the Beauty Brand, which is our membership, but it's more run like a mastermind. It's a business mastermind for people in the industry. We meet the first 3 Mondays of every month. And like today we have a sales call with our girl, Jillian Murphy. She's teaching all about sales, right? Because how sticky does sales feel sometimes for us? We just want to do the stuff. We want to put the product up there. I'm like, oh, if you need that, just take it. But if you're empowering your clients, like, this is a service I did, and these are why you need these products, that conversation should have been had when you were taking her order in the beginning, right? This is the type of hair she wants. Okay. In order to, achieve that and to sustain it and maintain it between appointments, these are the things I'm going to recommend throughout the appointment. I'm going to walk you through why I'm using them, why they're so important. We'll talk about what you already have at home, and then we'll figure out at the end what you really do need to take home, because it's in your best interest to maintain this hair that I just spent 4 hours on that you just paid $600 for, right? You can't send them home and knowing that they use Suave or they ordered something on Amazon. So, and then the other 2 Mondays, we do straight business coaching. And then the other one is more of a forum where something like this, when we're on Zoom, you guys get put into breakout rooms where you can help mastermind with each other and work on each other's businesses. Because like she started off saying, when we know we're not alone, we can really help each other and figure out how to support one another. And when you can build community for yourself in the industry, that's when you can feel empowered. And also, hey, how did you do that? Being able to ask, your peer, like, can you help me with that? Like, you looks like you're killing it. Like, I could really use some help. And all it does is it takes somebody, be like, hey, post you on their social media or tag you in something or bring you on an IGTV and share you. So again, making yourself visible is like the key takeaway out of all of this. But you getting to decide out of those 5, hopefully you use all 5 of those brand pillars that we talked about to draw people in to get to know, like, and trust you, and then throw in your little call to action of how they can work with you, how they can book with you, and how they can have more of you, because that's what people want. Was that helpful?
Yeah, I think that was amazing. So just to wrap up a couple of things that, Jess said. So first of all, asking for help, whether it is like the salon social media shop for templates, whether it is a coach or a mastermind group, or you're taking an online course, or you're doing, things on Monday classes, there's asking, your coworkers. There's just so many outlets out there, especially in today's day and age of technology, for you to put a question out on social. Guess what? People respond, with Instagram stories to help you. So I think that is, great. She mentioned these brand pillars. I don't know if any of you have ever thought in that way to create your own brand. I know some of you are in the same salon that are on this call too. How do you differentiate yourself? What are you known for? And then you also have, people that want to be known bigger than just their salon. So what is your brand? What are your brand pillars? And then, you can create these content pillars, these things that you keep and they help keep consistent. So what are they? How often are you going to talk about them? You can shift in between them, like, what? I really need to talk about this one a little bit more. And then this client avatar. So who is your ideal client? What do you want? What do you want to do? What do you want to work on? How do you enjoy work the most? And think about that person and talk to that person. And I think that will help with some of the issues that you guys brought up in the beginning. And then I loved that Jess also mentioned retail and sales. It can be another leg. And I know, putting on my Goldwell New York hat as a distributor of product, that it can be an additional thing. And social media, for those of you, she mentioned, talking about sales isn't easy for everybody. It can help. You have to see it, guys, 21 times now. 21 times we have to see, hear, listen about something before we probably click buy. It's just grown so much because the noise is very busy, right? Like, we hear and see a lot. So 21. And social can help do that. And that's why you also have to put the call to action in, because that's one more time they're seeing it spelled out. They're hearing it in the video, they're watching it, and others seeing it spelled out. So I think that those are all, really great tips to help you grow, help you get over, why social media is so hard, what kind of gets in our way. But these are all things that can help you. But as I know Jess would say, you got to do the work.
You got to do the work.
I mean, it's easy.
Yeah. Well, and what's great is, so if you want more of these brand pillars, we teach a free webinar, my partner and I, the 4th Monday of every month. And if you want I don't have the register. I don't have it here to drop in the chat because I'm not as technically skilled as most people. But it's on my website. You can, or on my Instagram, and the link in my bio, you can register for that free. It's basically a master class that we teach all about brand pillars and creating like a brand awareness. And we walk you through those legs. So if you have a little time on Monday, the 23rd, even if you can't make it live, we'll send you the replay and you can do the exercise at home, because it really helps give you clarity in your messaging. And clarity is like the number one thing that will help you decide what's next for your business. And yes, I was super sticky when it came to selling and retail too. No one ever explained to me that if I just educated people on the products, that was selling. I was like, oh, that I was like years in before it was like, no, you need to sell this many products. You need to do this. You need to, and I was like, I didn't understand it like I do now. And I think now, when you can use one of those educational pillars that you have, if butts and seats are your thing, become the educator that people are going to find out what the latest and greatest products are and why you love these products. Let that be one of you can make really cool graphics that I'm sure she has templates for, and just post those weekly. And if you are helping run the salon and you work with other people in the salon, it could be like, stylist pick of the week and choose 1 or 2 products and give like an in-depth, just pull it off the sales page of Goldwell. You don't have to rewrite the copy yourself. Like just pull the graphic, pull the copy. If I can do it, you can do it. And reshare that information, put it on your stories, put it to some fun music, and then show like a before and after some hair that you use that product on. And that's selling for itself. Everybody is social selling. If you are on social media talking about anything, you are a social seller. You are an influencer, like I said in the very beginning. The quicker we can all like have a come to Jesus moment and accept that, the easier all of this becomes, because even though we're like, I'm not in sales, you're selling your services. So we're in sales. You're selling yourself. And every time your client sits in your chair, it is up to you to sell them on how awesome you are by showcasing what you do on their hair, and then the conversation and experience that they have with you during the time they're with you. Why else would they want to book with you again? Right? Because amazing hairdressers are a dime a dozen these days. I think there's so many great, amazing, talented stylists out there. What's going to set you apart? My clients think I'm so cool now because I do so much on social media. They're like, oh my God. So now when I charge them double what I used to charge them, they don't bat an eye. I'm sure it stings a little. I'm sure they're like, damn, Jess, like what makes my hair so much better? Well, I've upped my craft. I've invested in myself, and this is the number I want to make. This is what I got to charge. It's very simple. And it helps me. I still feel a little every time I go to I'm normal too, you guys. So know that it's always going to be there a little bit, but work on your money noise. Work on that muscle of saying no to the things you don't want so you can leave room for the things you do want, and practice charging your worth, because it feels really good at the end of the day to add up your totals and do your report and see that number that feels so energetically aligned with the work that you just busted out doing. Because when that doesn't feel like that, that's when you know that little voice is like screaming, like, this doesn't feel right anymore. Maybe I don't want to do this anymore. But really, you either need to change your environment or you need to charge more. Sometimes it's both. And that can be hard because most of us don't like change. So being okay with the unknown, even if you're over here and you don't love it, like be okay that knowing it could be better, and reach out and ask for help. My DMs are open. You guys can shoot me if you have questions or any feedback. Like, I'm here.
And you guys, I did put in the chat, so you can scroll through and look. I just threw in Jess's Linktree link. So in her Instagram, if you guys don't know what Linktree is, it's a great way that if you are a person that's making, revenue or doing things in different, I call them buckets, but I think Jess called them legs, whatever you.
Buckets are good, yeah.
But that you could have something like that. I know in Canva you can create one too. If you look on Salon Social Media Shop, we used Canva to create ours because it's really just a link that is a website, a little mini website that fits perfectly.
So it's right in your bio. Anybody can have a Linktree, and most of you should, or you should have a Book Now app on your phone. So if you click the Linktree, what will pop up is the different links that people can click on to take them to whatever it is that you have. And it doesn't have to be a whole website. It can be a sales page. It can be a booking page for them to book with you. My link for my podcast is here. You can chat with me. There's my shops on there. So that's some of it's tied to the website. But if you don't have a website, which you should, that's a whole nother conversation we could have, but you should have links for people to get a hold or get to whatever it is that you have.
And even if it's you think about those brand pillars of what you want to drive. I mean, maybe it is for certain appointments, book this with me, but the different services that you offer, and that links into your booking tool, or, they're texting you or however you're getting, your bookings, and you can start driving those things that you want to drive just because you're simply putting them out there again to say, this is what I want. I know some of you are educators, so you can put your classes in there, link to how they, register for those classes. One thing I was going to do, and I don't know, I guess I'll ask you guys, you let me know if you think this is helpful. I was going to show you guys a couple of Instagram accounts that I thought were showing kind of that they've developed some of these brand pillars, that you get a sense of what their salon is like. They're more salons than hairstylists. So just put a yes or a no thanks, Danielle, in the chat if it's something that you think would be helpful to just take a quick peek at. Totally up to you guys. And then I also wanted to let you guys know, as Jess said, she has this May 23rd coming up, which I thought was great. And that is in that link. So you can go ahead and take a look and register for that. I've done a couple of listened in on a couple of Jess's, and they're just great. So, okay. So yes, please. Okay. So let me show you really quickly, because I don't want you to, analyze others too much, but sometimes I know it's helpful to reiterate. Let's see here. What we're saying to then see it visually. So this is a salon in Rochester, but when you go through, first of all, obviously their team is important. A lot of people are doing this with their highlights. They have gone down through and shared a little bit about them. They have hair, they have events they're doing. I see a lot of people, like their staff doing fun things. I see a lot of rainbow, ribbon, pride, so community, like I get a little bit of a sense of what this salon is going to look and feel like. It's not going to be all marble and chrome when I walk in, I don't think. Like it's going to have this more homey kind of, feeling. There's the team. So that's one example. This completely different, really. Like I look at, what they have. I do love that their salon is showing in the back, and it is white, and it is marbly. It is shiny, right? Like I get this feeling from, they're not only showing just hair pictures, but I can see part of the salon, what it's going to look and feel like, that experience, not just after pictures, but here's what the experience is going to be like. You see retail in a lot of the backdrops, just kind of fun. I get a vibe as a customer, what that's going to be like. So you guys want to show some of these. Here is another one. This is a citrine, and they do a really good job with these quotes in showing their personality, right? That's a little bit behind what it's going to look and feel like when you go into their salon.
And if you're an independent, I feel like this one's really good for you to look at if you're not like running your salon social media. But if you're independent, you see how these quotes kind of act as fillers that just draw people in, but also you can put great thoughtful copy underneath. They're showcasing hair, but then also that looks like maybe it's a client selfie, and then you've got some products. This is a really great one if you're independent, for sure, I think.
Yeah. Here is another one. Again, it's just showing, a little bit of the vibe. And at first I was like, well, when I looked at this one, I thought, oh, this feed is kind of busy. Well, guess what? I think their salon is kind of busy, like it's not like one shelf with just one product and they're all like, there's lots of stuff. I feel like everywhere you look in this place, you see different things. Like this is not so different than the one we looked at before. So I do want to reiterate, when you're looking at those pillars and what you want to talk about and what you want to show, that you can incorporate these different types of posts and things that really give a feel for what you're all about. And obviously people, okay? Faces are good. They actually in the algorithm get you more reach than no faces, just so you know. Here is one that I will show you a different. I really love these girls. They're very talented, and I think it's mostly girls. I think they're all female, but I love they're talented and they take great pictures and they obviously do great work, but I don't get enough of a feeling of what it's going to feel like when I walk in that salon. And this is what I see a lot of hair pictures. So make sure that you have those pillars and you're thinking about different things. And it will also help you, as Jess had said, stay consistent and show your personality. But they're obviously extremely talented. I mean, doing great stuff. So those were just some quick examples. So hopefully that helps. As I said, this is one that Jess had pointed out too. Talking retail, talking quotes, showing work, pretty well-rounded. Showing the salon, life in the salon. There's your coffee, there's a book getting highlighted. So I hope that that's helpful. And I know we are at our hour here. So I think that hopefully if you've learned anything from Jess is that you can do this. right? Social media is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I do it. I do it for Goldwell, New York. I'm the one creating those posts and thinking about the content and those pillars and who I'm talking to and all those kinds of things. And it is hard work. I love it and I enjoy it. So that's why I keep doing it. And I do see that it can grow the business. For any of you that follow Goldwell, New York, you know that what's going on and the things that we're talking about because you're following it and you're seeing it. And the same thing with the salon social media shop, you know, that I'm feeling your guys' pain. That's newer, that's harder. I'm in that growth phase, right, of growing that up. And, you know, it's funny, Jess, you said after 40 times and you're like, ooh, you have these ups and downs, right? Like, what do I want to do? Do I want to keep doing this? How does it want to look? Those types of things. And that's natural. And things just aren't easy, but you have to decide how much do you want it? What do you want to do? What's getting in your way? And how do you get past it? And
well, and I'll just tell you this one last little story. The last 20 years, I've been an expert in my field, right? I felt confident. I can talk about hair. I can do any kind of hair that comes in my chair. I don't think about it. I don't question any of that. But when it comes to being new in something else, like I realize I don't like being new. I don't like not knowing. And so struggling, starting the podcast, learning to grow this business mastermind, becoming a business coach, like all were really hard. These last 3 years have been the hardest I've ever worked, struggled and pushed through in my life in regards to anything in business whatsoever. Even being a parent, this is harder than that because it doesn't operate unless you're working on it and you're consistently trying to figure things out and showing up. And it's like, you know, some days you feel like you're failing at certain things because it's not easy. And that quote, like, oh, find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, that's bullshit. That's not true because we all know that doing hair brings us great joy, but it's a lot of hard work. And at the end of the day, anything that you're new in, so stepping into education, putting yourself out on social media, it's going to feel uncomfortable and it's going to feel hard. But find somebody on here you can buddy up with as an accountability partner and make little challenges and bring your community, which is your audience on social, into what it is you're doing and share with them what you're going through and how hard it is and that you're still doing it. That's motivating, inspiring, encouraging people, and that'll create the know, like, and trust we talked about. So hopefully some of this was helpful or all of it. I want to hear in the chat what you're going to do today to start showing up on social media and really making an impact in your business. Because if we don't show up for ourselves, we can't expect clients to get in our chairs and find us, right? So this is up to you. It's so easy. I'm never feeling sorry for anybody. No one's a victim. We all have the access to the education and we all have the ability to do the thing. If you need help, that is you empowering yourself to go ask for it because it's there for you if you need it. And especially stuff like this today, like I applaud you for showing up for sure. I dropped an episode of the Beauty Inspires Beauty podcast talking about, are we excited or are we dedicated? It's a good one just to kind of explore, like, it's easy to get excited about something, but it's a little harder to be dedicated about it. You can be dedicated and excited, but once you decide to be dedicated, we don't wait for motivation to like push us to do the thing. We do the things off our 5 because it's what needs to get done, not because we feel like it, right? And that's part of the business as the CEO of your own business that you need to own in order to show up to attract those type of clients that you want. Can I get an amen?
Yes. Jess, thank you so much for getting up early on the West Coast for us. We appreciate it. And, you know, I did put a link in there for the other social media series. You guys can register at the Goldwell New York website. And if you get a chance, register for Jess's webinar coming up on the 23rd and check out all the cool things that she's doing. Definitely the podcast, definitely see, you know, what's going on. It's somebody else to hear and listen to. And I hope that you guys had a great kickoff to the social media series. There is more help coming, lots of different specific things. Some of the things that we have are, you know, how to use Canva, specifically how to create different ideas for content and how to do a reel. So for those of you that really want to know how to do a reel, we have that coming up too. So take a look at the schedule and have an awesome week. And Jess, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'll see you guys all soon. Come follow me, chat with me on social.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.